Let's start by warming up the body. You're going to sit cross-legged and try to crunch and extend and crunch down and extend. Now, as we're doing this, I also want you to squeeze your pelvic floor as if you're trying to interrupt the flow of urination. So this is starting to work those muscles at different angles. Now, also really sit back on your sit bones here and really try to arch that lower back. And sit and curl back on those sit bones and arch up. Keep repeating that as you are squeezing your pelvic floor. So you want to try to realign this area as best as possible to get it straight, to set a base for what we're about to do. Now, when we're doing this type of cat and camel, we're going to add a little bit of a variation. So see how I'm sitting back here. Now go into camel and sit back. And repeat this process. Back and forth, sitting up. Now you can as well squeeze that pelvic floor as if you're trying to interrupt that flow of urination. But if you're new to this and you're just trying to get used to the movements, doing one thing at a time is also fine. But if you can, really try to stretch and don't allow your mouth to open. Try to keep that closed as well so you're getting the maximum stretch. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale through your nose. Now stretch out those feet. So this is really a full body workout for aligning your body after you just finished carrying a baby. And even if it's been a few years, this is still effective work to accomplish. Now, if this is quite intense, because what I'm doing here is I'm actually sitting with my toes curled up underneath me, if you couldn't see because of my black socks, and I'm putting my feet through different ranges of motions as I'm tilting side to side, reaching back, etc. So just do your best to follow along, take breaks as needed. And recover down. So slowly recover out of this. Your toe joints may be a little sore. Briefly reach into child's pose. And just breathe with your diaphragm for a few moments here. So when we breathe with our diaphragm, if you want to know more about that, you can look out for the link below. I'll leave in the description of another video that goes into detail about this. But essentially, when you're in this position, you really want to try to expand your belly and utilize your diaphragm so that we're preparing the area that we're going to be working on. Because we especially want to target the uterus and bladder area as well doing this work. Now, lying on your side, we're going to go into more depth, twisting of the spine. This is a very therapeutic stretch for the organs as well. So notice how my legs are both bent at 90 degrees for my knees. This is just to help you get a really good stretch at the base of your spine. And if I'm going too fast here for you, take your time and you can go at your own pace. That's the beauty of doing this at home by yourself. You can go as slow as you need. Remember to inhale and exhale here. And pause the video as needed. And switch sides. Remember to keep both knees bent at 90 degrees for maximal stretch. If that is too intense for you, you can straighten the bottom leg, but otherwise, bent at 90 degrees is best, and just don't go as far of a twist with your back. That's the other option as well. You'll notice one side may be a little bit easier than the other. So whatever side you find a little bit more difficult, maybe do a few extra reps on that side or hold the stretch a little bit longer. Now we're going to stretch right out here. So this is called a candlestick pose. So you're imagining your wrists and your hands are being pulled upwards and your ankles and feet are being pulled downwards. And you're getting a nice, beautiful traction of your entire body. And make sure to really utilize that diaphragm breathing. Try to squeeze your glutes as much as you can and externally rotate your legs. Again, really utilize that diaphragm breathing. Stretch the abdomen and exhale. And inhale as you stretch the abdomen and exhale. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, all the while you're still squeezing your glutes and rotating your legs outwards. You're still getting that elongation effect of your body. And release. Now here's where things will get very specific in regards to the bladder and uterus area. Essentially, I'm going to be showing you two different types of techniques. So this is the first one here. So essentially you want to get on skin contact and apply a very gentle pressure, cupping right along the side of your iliac crest. So that pointy part of your bone, you're going to cup right under that and use your leg on that same side to push away as you gently use gravity to pull your hands down and reset. Push away, pull your hands down. You can see kind of that curvature there and down. The other method I'll show you on this side is you can use the fascia and release that. So I'm putting a very gentle pressure, pushing my skin down, holding it down along the inguinal line and performing these leg movements to work the fascia in this area. This is great for blood flow. This is great for alleviating any scar tissue in the area around the inguinal line, around the ovaries, around the large intestine. So again, this pressure that you're putting is just over the weight of your hand. It is not significant. You should not feel any pain. You may feel a little bit of a stretching of your skin type of sensation, maybe a slight burning sensation from the skin, having that type of ripping sensation. That is normal, and those are all great signs that you are doing phenomenal fascial work. So at this point in time, you can pause the video and perform each of those exercises on either side, as I'm only showing you each exercise once per side. So going into the next step, we're going to further encourage the strength of the musculature supporting the arch of our feet, as well as our hip area to keep our knees and ankles and hips working together simultaneously. So if you have an elastic band, you're going to make a loop like I just did. So put it around a solid base, like the table I'm showing here, a table around your house or something like that. So basically, the foot has a tendency after pregnancy to fall inward. The arch tends to flatten. So we want to use the elastic band to pull the foot further in. Therefore, we have to use the muscles of the foot to keep it from falling inwards. We're just going to perform this rocking type of motion. So do your best to follow along exactly what I'm doing. and really try to focus on not letting that arch collapse inwards. Really focus on developing that 3-point contact of your foot. So, what I mean by that is your heel is getting pressed down into the floor, and the base of your big toe and the base of your little toe all have equal contact with the floor as you're performing this exercise. This is a great balance exercise as well, so if you do need a chair beside you to balance, go for it. You can also do this near to a wall. Continue to focus on that 3-point contact. This is also mimicking how your foot should be responding as you walk. So this is a very good exercise that you can transition into your everyday life as well. A lot of people wouldn't think how this affects the pelvis, but if your foot is placed funny, that's going to change the way your knee is positioned, which changes the way your hip is positioned, which changes the way your pelvis is positioned and therefore how your organs sit. So now we're going to include the knee as well. So try to keep that foot from collapsing inwards and make sure that knee is right over top of that second toe. You want to make sure the knee does not collapse inwards and you're going at a very slow, steady pace. I'll show you from a different angle in just a moment so you can grasp another idea of what it should look like. And if you can do this in front of a mirror to make sure your knee isn't collapsing inwards, even better. Otherwise, you can use your own eyes to make sure your knee is heading straight for your second toe. In this particular angle, you will see my knee go over my ankle. This is okay in regards to the fact that when we walk up the stairs, our knees will go over our ankles. So what we're doing here is we're just training different functional angles of our body. So now on this side, we're going to go and train the other side. We're going to do the arch of this foot. So same principle, we don't want our arch to collapse inwards, and do your best to maintain that 3-point contact. And if you're curious about a more in-depth video specifically targeting collapsed arches, especially if that's something that you have a problem with and you know you have a problem with, then I'll leave the video link right below down in the description. Stay focused. Try to maintain that balance. If you want to add even more difficulty, you can also close your eyes. But of course, if this is your only first few times doing this video, then obviously go at what you feel most comfortable with. And you may need all the help you can get at the beginning. And this is normal. These exercises are designed to reverse the effects that happened during pregnancy, and sometimes reverse the effects that have occurred even from when we first started developing and maturing as a young child, because hormonal changes sometimes are enough to relax the ligaments and therefore put greater stress on the musculature and even change the bony structure of the alignment of our bodies. So now we're going to further go into lunges. Again, do your best here. Make sure that you have that 3-point contact with your foot. If you feel you are slipping, you can just take your socks off or even use runners. But actually, believe it or not, performing exercises barefoot are often better because your body can really get a true idea of where it is in space, especially when you are trying to retrain your feet. on how they should be performing and how it should be distributing your weight and how your arches should be maintaining themselves to align your knee and hip as best as possible. And now we're going to actually force the knee to try to go inward as well. So again, we're stressing all different angles and really getting the musculature to work how it should. So same principles here. We're going to do the lunges, but on the other side. This time, the elastic is really going to be trying to pull the knee in. As I showed here, you can do quarter squats, focusing on keeping that knee right in line with that second toe, same as before. Otherwise, you can just maintain this pattern here. And make sure that the elastic stays above the kneecap. You may have to readjust it as I just showed you. And let's switch to the other side. This is the last one, the grand finale. We're almost done here. So take your positions, make sure that elastic is right above the kneecap. Keep everything completely aligned. Make sure that knee is driving right through, straight for your second toe. Keep that 3-point contact. Making sure your knee does not fall inwards, making sure your arch does not collapse, making sure your hips maintain straight forward, as you see me demonstrating here. Inhale and exhale. Remember to keep breathing and not hold your breath. So I want to congratulate you on completing this video. If this is your first time, awesome work. Trust me, it will get easier and easier every time. If you know anyone in your life who would benefit from this just like you are, please be sure to share this video with them. And if you have any comments for me, please leave that in the comments below, or if you have any suggestions or requests of videos that you want to see me release in the future, also leave that in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe, because once you do, you'll be notified of every new video that I release in the future, and potentially it may even be one of your own requests. Thanks for all your support.